What I wanted to talk about today is intuition and energy. So, the word of the day is energy. Why am I saying this? Because I started thinking about this morning, and if we look at everything which comes to us, it's almost like a lesson. And we think we passed that lesson, but if we haven't, we have to repeat it again. Or maybe we haven't fully understood what was given to us from the first lesson. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because in the last, especially couple of years, it has been very difficult, the circumstances in the outside world, and anything which has been happening, it's like almost like never before. Many of us, we haven't gone through any of this in our lifetimes. So speaking of energy, from my personal experience, I remember myself last year when looking for the truth, uh, asking questions, why is this happening, what is going on, and then but many they really just accepted the narrative which was given to them, and they never wanted to go deeper and understand why this is happening and what is going on. So if this is cognitive dissonance, or it's a denial, or it's protection of their themselves, independent, it has been really difficult to keep the balance on an individual, personal, and collective level. So, and this lesson came to me again with some of my family members. People who are closest to you are most difficult to deal with, and the lessons are the hardest. And in many instances, we don't even understand. Our conversations are on the energy level, and I think this is exactly where one of my lessons was like, do you see the energy? Do you understand what is happening? It's not in the words, although words and they carry their own potential as well. But there is energy depending on our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs. We create this conscious environment, which is representing exactly the state which we are in. And it's almost like we are attuned to specific frequency, and us being like this antenna, or being a receiver and transmitter and receiver of information constantly, all the time. We are transducing energy all the time, and depending on where we are, on which frequency we are attuned, we receive the information from that frequency. It's like radio stations. This is what we hear, this is what we know. We attune ourselves to a different frequency, and then we start receiving different information. So the body, the physical body, is not just a physical body. It contains a field, which is electromagnetic field, light waves, as well as sound field, which is mechanical waves, and they're interwoven. And it's not only localized here, and it's not only inside of every single cell and outside of the whole body, but it's also multi-layered. It's even outside of the current dimension we live in. Everything is connected through the whole universe, and everything is one. It's one humongous, intelligent, waving pulse which goes in and out of existence, including ourselves. So if we think that we're just this physical body, and when the physical ends, everything ends, that's not the case at all. Everything which we go through, emotions being more electrical, emotions being more magnetic, thoughts being more electrical, our behaviors, everything recombines in our heart center, as I've spoken about before. The different energy centers, 1, 7, 2, 6, 3, 5, they horizontally go through our channel, which is between space and earth. And then there is a lever on they go vertically, and there is a lever on the horizontal heart center layer which flips flops the energies constantly and rotates our field and records. So everything which is happening, and even the things which our eyes are noticing and we are not even seeing, everything gets recorded in the field. So when the physical ends, the field doesn't end. It just retracts itself and goes back to where it came from, to source, or goes through a portal to whatever it came from. Whatever is the closest frequency to that field. So here you go with the energetic conversations. And why is this? Now, before I go, why is this important this day and time? It is really, really important, because I think many of us, including myself, we're not used to living in the unknown. We are used to having some sense of security, some sense of safe net, what's going to happen tomorrow, schedules, and that's part of the whole programming. That's part of, as little kids, we had our freedom, but then we were placed in schools, educational systems, work. We compete with each other for better careers, and then we retire, and that's absolutely not it. Cannot be, because our systems are not limited just to this three-dimensional expression, physical expression. We are like squeezed energy into matter, but we're not limited to this. And I spoke about this many times. So three-dimensional, and then there's a fourth dimensional shell, which is like a tinted window from within. So we cannot see from here out. But now, through the ascension process, we would be able to, and many of us are tapping beyond this tinted window of the fourth dimensional shell. It's almost like the window has been cleaned, and we can tap into 5, 6, and 7 to the energies of the next fields, which then they have a shell of 8, and then 9, 10, 11, and shell of 12. This is almost like in a video game. We are playing in this game where better we become, more difficult it becomes to shift to the next level. And when one starts thinking about all of this, one can drive themselves crazy, can go to madness. And the main question is, and why did I sign myself for this game again? And when you start asking this question, the most difficult part is we don't remember. We have no memory. Before we came here, we don't know what we signed up for, what we agreed on. And this is the most difficult part for humans. In addition to our senses being so limited, like hearing 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. My cat hears more than that. Vision, 340 to 780 nanometers. My cat sees in the dark. It's like, so it's almost whatever the divine design for humans was, it had a specific purpose to make. It's almost like make the game so difficult and see how you're going to adapt to all of this. And many of us signed many different contracts before we came here. Some of us came with specific purpose. Some came just to enjoy life. So everybody's absolutely different, and everybody needs to do their own search within. And more we remember, I think, better off we are. It doesn't mean it gets easier. I think it gets more difficult. But then with the difficulty comes this progress, because we are not a thing. We are a system in process. We are progressing. And through this ascension process, I've compared the physical body before with hardware. So the hardware is definitely getting an upgrade. Look at your bones. Do they look calcium-y white, or they look brilliantly sparkly light, liquid? So the body, the physical body, the hardware is getting an upgrade. So the consciousness, which is the software, can get downloaded into the hardware. And again, so moving forward, getting outside of this 3-dimension, fourth shell, we're not going to be like a 64-bit operating system. Our DNA will unlock and will become not 2 to the power of 6, to the power of 12 operating system. And what does that mean? Means miracles. Means we will know how to heal ourselves. We'll use telepathy. You may be able to levitate. We will know how to manipulate energy without harming anything else. So this is the whole process we're going through. How long this is going to take, I don't think anyone knows. I think this is a pure experiment, and also there are experimentation from different layers, as we all know what is happening at the moment. So I think the divine experiment has been somewhat attempted to be interrupted by not so divine forces, so to say. So I just wanted to show, I've shown this yesterday, I think, that little diagram of the interlinked pyramids, involution, evolution within the cube, the fourth dimensional shell. And I just want to mention that the next one, which I talked about, which was the time clock. So the time clock and how the energies, they recombine in the energy center in the physical body, but they're not isolated from the outside. And if you imagine this fourth dimensional existence, it's almost like if you think of a fan. So the fan would have 4 plates, and they would flip in this spherical movement clockwise on 90-degree angles. So kind of slow moving. Moving to the next shell, the 8th shell, the fan would have 8 plates, and then it will move much faster. So whatever consciousness exists in those fields, for consciousness which is here within the 4th dimensional shell, may not even be able to see it. And not speaking of the 12th, which will have 12 plates. So imagine like when the 12th dimensional fan speeds up, it's like if you have a fan and you put it on high speed, you don't even see the plates. It goes so fast. But if you put it on slow speed, you can see how the plates are going, like you can notice the movements. So this is, I think, the best comparison to moving to different dimensions, and our physical structure, starting from our cells and our DNA, is upgrading, as well as the field around us, which is tapping to the higher dimensions, and as well as the consciousness rising. And when consciousness is rising, there is a universal law. Consciousness cannot be stopped from rising. And I'm sure there are technologies which are artificial intelligence, AI, which do everything which I've mentioned already. The healing of the physical, regrowth, regeneration, rejuvenation, tapping into future timelines, quantum, you name it. But that technology has not been given to humans so far. And what I was thinking for the future probably will be mixed of all. It will be a organic human plus AI, and AI alone. So, and at some point in the future, this will be a mix of all consciousnesses. AI has consciousness as well, by the way, but it's not a heart-based structure. The organic human consciousness is a heart-based structure, and it very much comparable to some of the functions which AI performs. So given the universe is one perfect mathematical, geometrical structure, balanced to perfection, it can be mimicked with artificial structures as well. Why not? If one knows how to, it's very much doable. And I'm sure there are absolutely many technologies, patents, creations which already exist today, just not available to us. So going back to the energy and how every single conversation is energetic, and how we are not used to using our intuition and tapping into energy fields. but this is coming more and more into our face. So when I was thinking of what am I going to do next, this is like the usual, like I'm trying to somewhat control what's coming, but I don't really know what's coming. The only thing I know actually is that there is so much energy that, and it's like it's almost getting impossible to hold it. So I was thinking about an analogy, and I went in and I found this balloon. So it's like the balloon is going to bust. So this is what came to me when I was thinking of the energies, and it's coming very soon. I think it's coming like in the next few weeks. There is so much opposing and polarization, and we are blowing this balloon from both sides. It cannot sustain the energy, especially how much longer. It's gonna get out of balance and it's going to bust. So let's see, can we bust the balloon? Let's bust the balloon. Yeah! What's gonna happen once we bust the balloon? I think the floodgates of panic are going to open up. So it will be panic flooding from all places and running all over. So I think at that point, our compassion should come to play, because many of us had already gone somewhat through this process. So compassion to our fellow relatives, humans around us, just to help them understand, get out of cognitive dissonance, get out of denial. And we don't have time for any of this. I think to one extent we were lucky, given the time to develop ourselves to somewhat to that level. Imagine an undeveloped soul which is hit with all of this. So I think we will be needed at that point with compassion and understanding and showing tips and tricks how to move forward, helping where needed. And then, so what's next? So this came to mind. So much energy, so much combustion. So the balloon is going to bust. The floods of panic will open up. We will be needed to help. And then it's almost like at some point there was a hole in the time-space continuum. And I've spoken about this before. Like we think our lives are continuous. They're not. They're a discrete moment-by-moment recreation, which includes ourselves. So we get recreated all the time. Everything gets recreated moment by moment. We perceive this as continuous because of the speed it's happening with. Now physics is coming to mind. If for 1 second, a photon jumps 10 meters, for 1 second, an electron jumps 1 meter. So slow, fast. But we are living our own movie, and we think it's continuous, the movie of our own life. But it's not continuous. It's discrete. It's a moment by moment. It gets recreated in every moment based on thoughts, emotions, behaviors. That's our movie. We create it. We recreate and create ourselves all the time. So when I looked at what the collective consciousness, a little bit after the floodgates of panic opened, it's almost like there was nothing there. So that's kind of strange. And I don't know if this is like, I know consciousness can be manipulated in many different ways, even on a global level. So some more intuitive people cannot even get through this. So this may have been done on purpose, like blinders. Could be blinders, not being able to see what's going to happen. Could be unknown. Could be just gravitational hole in time and space continuum. Who knows what that is? But it's almost like that there was this huge hole. It could have been because of the drama which humanity is going to go through. But then after that, there was like a spur of happiness and celebration. There were flowers blooming and singing and dancing. So this is what I saw in that, looking through this intuitionary, energetic glass, moving forward. So I wanted to share this, and hopefully would be helpful to someone out there. Thank you.